Aquí viene Rattler lanzándolo para la parte izquierda del campo. La pelota en el aire. ¡Y cómo se la quita la 19! ¡En la 10! ¡Y aquí hay que darle 6 más! ¡6 más! ¡6 más! ¡Que aquí hay otro touchdown! La intersección de 26 yardas para Kamal Harry. Y aquí hay que darle 6 más. ¡Vamos, Vols!
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Carlos Lopez, the first person to conduct a Spanish-language-only broadcast of a Tennessee Volunteers game for the Vols Network. He joins us now on 104.5 The Zone. Carlos, that was absolutely electric.
Man, God gets the credit for all of this. I'm just happy that I get to do something now to unite everybody in a world that till today is still trying to separate us. I'm trying to unite not just Vol Nation, but I'm trying to unite us nationwide and worldwide.
So the opportunity for you to do this game and to be the first person in history to broadcast a Vols game in only Spanish, as everybody tries to include more and make the experience that is a Tennessee game day as inclusive as humanly possible. I was reading the backstory on how it was that you got the opportunity. Can you tell the backstory of how the University of Tennessee, how you reached out to the University of Tennessee to try and create what ultimately became that opportunity in the UTSA game?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a professor when I went to Middle Tennessee State. I did grad school there, and I had a professor always talk to me and say, be the best at what matters most. Carlos, everything's already been created, but what is something out there that's already been created that you can make it your own? So last year, that's always been, running through my mind. I've always been searching for something that only I could fulfill. And last year when we were playing Alabama, I was listening to the ESPN and the CBS announcers, and I'm like, man, these guys are just not doing it for me. And then last year in November is when the World Cup was about to start happening. So I was like, you know what, I think that I can do something for this game to just give me a little bit more excitement. So when we were playing Alabama, Princeton fan, I think we're at the 3-yard line or something like that, one of those touchdowns. And I just start filming from my house, from my living room. And I turned on my phone. I said, let me post this on back in the day when that was Twitter. Now it's X. And let me post this and see. And the caption was, if Spanish announcers were announcing NCAA football games. And the next day that I posted that, the attention was incredible. The attention was the people that it was reaching, not just Spanish speakers, but, Spanish speakers everywhere. People are retweeting it and sending me messages. We need more. And I was like, you know what? Let me keep on going. Let me do a couple of more videos. And then I started seeing that I graduated from the University of Tennessee. So my career started as a football player. I started at Carson Newman. After graduated from Seymour High School over here in East Tennessee. Then I went to Carson Newman. I did a grad transfer to Middle Tennessee State. I got to play a little bit in the Arena Football League as a kicker, and then coming back and earning a world language degree at the University of Tennessee. And then I just started seeing that there were so many international students that were coming into the University of Tennessee that were, from my roots. They were Latin American students that were coming here internationally and then getting a degree and then going back to their prospective countries to do whatever it is that they're going to do. So I'm here and I'm sitting in my living room and I'm like, what can I do to embrace this Latin community? What can I do to embrace this Hispanic community? Because the student athletes are not going to school and they're not competing and they're not giving their all to Tennessee just September 15th through October 15th. They're competing year in and year out, and I need to do something to embrace what these students are doing. And then I just started sending, DMs. I started sending emails, and, because at the end of the day, for me, it's one thing to call a game. It's another to have played it, but to become a United States citizen and give a voice to others that might be going through something similar that I went through and give them a place where they too feel like they belong, that was the motivation for me.
At Carlos on the Go 12 is where you can follow him. You can also check out the video that he ended up setting in sending in if somebody called a Tennessee game in a Spanish language broadcast that ultimately saw him broadcast the first Spanish language broadcast for the Vol Network in history.
So, Carlos, I know what it's like to grow up in a household with parents that aren't from the U.S., that never grew up with American football, never had any affinity for it, and having to kind of discover it for myself. I'm not sure if that was your situation, but I am curious how you fall in love with football to play it and then end up wanting to be on the broadcasting side of it, and specifically with the Vols.
Right. So, let's go back a little bit. We arrived to the United States in 2001. We live in Miami. My mom's like, we got to get out of here because we're not going to learn English. She married my stepfather, a Cuban-American, and then we go live in Connecticut, and my mother's like, we can't live up here either. But in 2001, as we're living in Hartford, Connecticut, my mother turns on the TV, and there is this rivalry going on between the Lady Vols, basketball, Pat Summitt, and UConn. And my mother's like, wait a minute, what is this Lady Vol going on? I love this woman. I love Pat Summitt. And she started researching around and whatnot, and then she had a friend that lived here in Seymour, Tennessee, and she was like, I need to move to Tennessee because I need to be closer to where this Pat Summitt is.
Actually.
And what we didn't realize, so we started my mother started falling in love with Tennessee all the way back to 2001 when we arrived here to the United States. Little did she know that us moving to Seymour, Tennessee, we were going to be 15 minutes away from Neyland Stadium. So, back in the day, we couldn't speak English. We're driving around and we get lost, but my mom sees the gold sun sphere. And then behind the sun sphere is Neyland Stadium. And then all of a sudden she's like, wait a minute, I'm here we live where the University of Tennessee is. And then from that moment on is where our love for the University of Tennessee has started growing. And then playing soccer all my life in Venezuela, coming over here, I guess I had a powerful leg and whatnot. I just posted something yesterday because I get to do something really, really cool now where I get to I started my own series with the University of Tennessee called Vamos Vols with Carlos Lopez, where I get to go now inside UT Athletics. And y'all might remember this show that I used to watch to try to learn English. It's called Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe.
Yes.
And
yes.
Amazing.
So y'all know, I love that show. I still watch it to this day. And Mike Rowe actually goes in and does the jobs of what the people do. So I kind of grabbed that idea and turn it into athletics, where now I get to go inside UT and practice and participate in all the sports that have Spanish speakers in them. And all of our sports inside UTK have a Hispanic background student athlete. And yesterday I posted the first episode they're going to be coming out on YouTube here pretty soon. And it's on, again, it's Carlos on the go is my Twitter handle, and you can see where my YouTube page is and all that. That's going to be coming out soon. But the first week we were with women's tennis, and that goes right there with, I think I sent probably about 500 or 600 emails, including DMs and whatnot. And one of the responses that I get back is from our head women's tennis coach. Her name is Alison Ojeda. And she sends me a reply back, and I'm just like, whoa. So somebody replied back, and she says, hey, I love everything that you're doing. I want to tell you something. I'm actually Mexican-American. And I'm like, wait a minute. Not only do we have student athletes that are Latinos playing for UT, but we also have coaches that are Hispanic background. And now all of a sudden you see this ball moving. She's like, hey, can you send me some stuff that you're doing? And then she starts sharing this stuff inside UT. And then I get an email from an unbelievable woman, Dr. Monica LeBron, one of our deputy ADs inside UT. And guess what? She's Puerto Rican. And she's like, wow, somebody actually tagged me in one of the voiceovers that you did on the videos, and it resonated with me so much because I'm Puerto Rican. We have to work on something. So I know this was from the very beginning, this was so important to the University of Tennessee, all the way from the top, from Denny White, from Donde Plowman. The support has been unreal. And then, Dr. Monica, Alicia Longworth, the head women's soccer coach, Coach Kurt, Coach Alison Ojeda. 2 days ago, we were with women's golf Coach Diana Cantu, a Mexican-American coach as well, and now our episodes are in Spanish to embrace this culture that's inside the University of Tennessee. That way those student athletes can now have something where they can grab, which is, it could be anything, a picture, anything, but now it's going to be a Spanish interview where they'll be able to grab that YouTube link and send it home. That way their families, the ones that have made all the sacrifices for them to have a successful future, can see what their sons and daughters are doing here in the United States.
At Carlos on the Go 12. You can hear the passion in his voice. You can see it for yourself on the YouTube series that he is putting out there as well. Carlos, thank you so much for the time. It's an inspirational story, truly, and it was our great pleasure to catch up with you. We look forward to doing it again soon, hopefully, if you've got some time.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. God bless you all.
That is Carlos Lopez, the first person to do a Spanish language broadcast for the Vol Network.
Isn't that amazing?
Awesome.
All comes back to Pat Summitt, man.
Awesome.
Incredible.
All right, I'm a pretty cynical person, okay? You could probably get that from my tone on a day-to-day. I had a smile on my face throughout that entire story just because, I don't know, it's so rare to hear something truly original and inspirational that way, and Carlos Lopez his story is exactly that, and the outreach that has now begun because of him doing that, just so cool. He said that the CBS and ESPN broadcasters weren't doing it for him. What he meant to say is that every broadcaster that we have, except for Lucas, is at least on network, a little stiff. So let me get a little Latin with my play-by-play broadcast, please.
Milton con la pelota, amagando al corredor, mirando por la parte derecha del campo, la lanza, la pelota en el aire, y dale seis, que aquí hay otro touchdown. Gran Naranja, Quito con la recepción, señoras y señores, Tennessee arriba.